Hey, I'm Mike O'Dowd, and today I'm with Wes Fox from United Defense Tactical, and we're going to walk through some of the benefits of the training facility he has here. I want to talk specifically about simulated shooting and the simulated training that he has. Show me your hands, show me your hands, hands up, stop. Keep your hands up, don't go for the gun, don't reach for that gun. Keep your hands where I can see them. So Wes, thanks for coming on and walking us through this.
Of course, welcome.
Can you kind of talk us through like what you guys do here and what is United Defense Tactical?
So United Defense Tactical, we're one of the first reality-based threat training centers for civilians, military, and law enforcement. So where we're different is that a lot of the training that people do is very static. They're at a range, there's no threat, they've got one eye closed, they're punching holes in a piece of paper, right? And so what we do is kind of take it to another level with simulator training, force on force, live scenarios, to really put you more in a real situation where you have to, first of all, have situational awareness, be aware of your surroundings, hopefully not get in a situation in the first place if you can, have a plan for yourself and your family to get out of a situation if it occurs, whether it's home defense or robbery at a restaurant or a theater, active shooter, whatever it might be. And then to be able to process that in that threat under pressure, still making good decisions, and to be able to, to operate, not just, punch a hole in a piece of paper.
I understand you guys have the screen. It does 270 degrees, correct?
That's correct.
And you can even go 360 if you need to?
Correct.
How else can you employ the screen? Like when we used to do this training, it was one-dimensional screen. It was very limited. We had a laser gun with just a clicking sound. It was almost like a toy gun. How has that changed, and how can you integrate other trainings into a simulator?
Yeah, Mike, the technology is definitely advancing and becoming more realistic, and that's the goal. We want that shooting experience for that shooter to be as real as possible and to match what they're doing outside of here. In the bigger picture, we want what we call integrated combatives. You don't want to be one-dimensional. You just do live fire, but there's no threat processing. You just do simulator, but you're not accessing any real live fire. So to be able to kind of put it together, and then we always recommend, we teach here as well, but a self-defense component. Because the last thing, as we talked about, we want to do is draw that weapon and use it unless it's absolutely the last resort. So self-defense is important, and then kind of combining that, simulator training, live fire, live scenarios where it's like the simulator, but you actually have a physical threat, which we'll add into an existing training. And so we call integrative combatives. You're really kind of doing everything.
That's great. I can't tell you how many people I've heard, I've seen, think that buying their gun and now that's the safe button. They don't have to train it, they don't have to know how to fight. And it's pretty frustrating to see, because how often do you actually get to use your gun versus not use your gun? A question a lot of people are going to have, though, is with the simulator itself and the simulated rounds, how safe is this? And is this something that anyone can do? Or is it something that you have to be at a benchmark of training before you come out and do it? Sure.
Another really good question. Our member base, our student base is really everybody, from professionals in law enforcement, military, to been shooting their whole life, to competition shooters, to somebody who's never even picked up a gun before. So we'll start students on a non-recoil infrared laser weapon that works with our system. There's zero chance of any type of injury, obviously. It's a great way for them to kind of get introduced to shooting, teaching them how to work, gun handling, and safety, and then we kind of build a progressive system from there. From a learning kind of psychological standpoint, and the way that the brain develops, doing something frequently, small amounts of training frequently is going to get you to a much higher level than doing a larger amount of training occasionally, if that makes sense. And that's true for anything that we do.
Yeah, higher reps, higher frequency, that's the only way to do it.
That's it.
And it seems like here you guys are able to come in on the daily because there's no high barrier to cost.
That's
you
right.
can get your reps in daily and then go on about your workday. Is that accurate?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I came here to talk with you, but secretly, I want to play around on this thing and see what it does. Is that okay?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Hey, I'm pausing the video right now to let you know about a free giveaway that USCCA has going on right now. Check out the link below for all the details, and let's get back to the video.
So here, Mike, it's Friday night, end of the week. You and your family are upstairs in the den, relaxing, watching movies. Your wife hears a noise downstairs. There's somebody in your house. You tell her to stay put, keep the kids with her, lock the door behind you, and call the police. Okay. You're now standing at the top of the stairs. Take your pistol out. You've retrieved your weapon, and you're standing at the top of the stairs. Okay. Remember to communicate, give appropriate commands, whatever you deem appropriate. Okay. All right, so communicate.
Hands. Show me your hands. Get out of my house. Stop. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Honey, call 911. Assess. Man.
The real world is fluid. It does change. It requires constant assessment. Remember, your family's in the room behind us. So your abilities, your skill level, and your fear is going to be at a certain level, probably lower than most. But your family, their fear, their panic, their cries, their screams, whatever's going on in the background, that will impair your ability to operate effectively, right? People are going to operate differently. Technically, he is a weapon. Doesn't need a weapon to cause great bodily injury, death, or commit egregious felonies. In this case here, when he draws the weapon, the big key here is that communication change. I asked your spouse to call the police, not necessarily so they can arrive in time. It can take a minute to get there, but they will record the call. And just for me personally, I like that aspect because, again, you get arrested, you have to defend, and you have to articulate what you did. The communication can change. He starts off unarmed. You give him those commands, same commands. You come up these stairs, I will shoot, get out. He reaches and draws a weapon. Drop the weapon, drop the weapon, drop the weapon. That gives us, everybody, a perspective and an understanding why you just shot. Without seeing anything, you know why you pulled the trigger.
That's the hardest part, I think, is the decision making. You know,
100%.
Anyone can shoot a gun, most
Correct.
people. Not everyone can operate a gun, and not everyone can have the tactics and make the right decisions, besides shooting. Like, how many other ways could you skin this cat? I'm gonna guess quite a few.
Sure.
And how many of them are good ways, and how many of them are gonna get you killed ways? This is great. Do you have any other scenarios I can try?
Absolutely. Okay, so now we'll do a concealed carry scenario. This scenario here, you came in to train today, and after your training, we gave you your firearm back, so you're now armed. You're walking out the front door where you joined us today, and you're simply heading back towards your car. I'm not here. Remember, communicate, do whatever you deem appropriate.
And then, whoa, hands, keep your hands up, keep your hands up. Don't go for the gun. Don't reach for that gun. Keep your hands where I can see them.
Excellent. Great job. Good shots. So, what we talk a lot about, people come in, a lot of people wanting to get their concealed carry. And again, talking about that thought process. So if we break this down, you come around the corner, you see the guy with the gun, right? Gun's an imminent threat. Yes? Yeah. When does it become an immediate threat to you?
The moment he touches it.
Exactly. Couple questions about it. Is it real? Is it loaded? Will he pull it and will he shoot me? Yeah. Have no idea. And I don't care. You have to assume that's a real gun, right? Now, what I talk a lot about with folks is the thinking, the options, okay? A lot of people are unarmed. So if I send you back outside unarmed and you have the same threat, what would be some options available to you?
This distance, it's either run like hell or run like hell and fight him.
Okay, and with your experience, that's feasible. What else could we potentially do?
If there's no run option, potentially like de-escalate, talk to him.
Give him the keys. We have car insurance. Car's not worth dying over, and really not worth taking another human life over. It's an option, just an option. Now you drew your firearm first and you didn't automatically shoot him, which is fantastic. Action is always faster than reaction. So you drew the firearm and you gave him those commands. Again, we go a little bit different than the law enforcement. We want to talk a lot about what to do and not to do. Don't touch your pistol, which you did incorporate. That was perfect. Tell him to walk away. Everything we can to have this man go away. We're not detaining, we're not holding, we're not arresting. We want to get out of threat. You saw him reach for the pistol, and then you presented and stopped the threat.
2 learning points from this. Firstly, when he said, hey, 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 he got my attention. I heard everything he said. The moment his shirt opened and I saw a gun, I didn't hear anything he said after that.
Really?
I didn't hear, give me your keys. I just heard, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, don't touch your freaking gun.
Laser focused.
Which, you know, that's a normal response, but that's interesting. And then the other thing, we've read all these studies about how when a gun is exposed and somebody reaches for it, people's eyes focus, and when their eyes focus for it, the shots, and if you look at the shots, it's exactly where his gun is, all of them. So I mean, plain to see how much benefit you can get from this. The thinking, you're seeing like the pressure that comes on you from stress. My heart's not beating, but there's stress. It's like I need to defeat this person. I need to defend myself. This is pretty cool.
Again, at the gun range, really it's point and shoot. There's not a whole lot of thinking going on. So, you know, I always ask people when they come through that you'll fall to the level of your training. If the only training that you're doing for self-defense purposes is going to a gun range shooting statically at a piece of paper, it really impairs your ability. And some of the stuff that you did naturally, that movement that you did is huge because we have the background to consider with the windows, which changes your background to that stucco, that drywall, and concrete. The more you move around here, we have cars on this side, which we can now take cover. All the things that they're not having to think about in that static platform come into play in a real environment, not counting everybody else that's physically around you.
Know your target and what's beyond it. It's something at ranges nobody actually cares about.
Yeah.
They just say it.
That's right.
And the moment I decided to draw, I was like, window, crap, I need a flank, get something. And then I was even thinking about this car that was here.
That's it.
I was like, I want to get behind this car.
That's it.
There's so much to think about. It's like we did 2 scenarios, each one so different, and neither of these scenarios of our debrief points are we talking about my grip, my trigger squeeze, or any of the things that are just like inherent to your normal training. It's everything that you never talk about. Well, that was really cool. Appreciate you guys putting me through that. Heck yeah. Thank you. I think I've proven to myself and hopefully to you guys today that the simulator training really is the other half of shooting. It has nothing to do with grip, stance, marksmanship, all the things that we take on our side, and it's everything to do with what the other person, what the environment is doing. It's something we don't get to train a lot. This has been like a really enlightening experience. The simulators have come such a long way from back when I was doing them in terms of like the real world, the scenarios, the graphics, even the toys that we're using to play with them, whether it be airsoft, blowback, or laser guns. It's just phenomenal. Wes, really appreciate everything, having me here. This is like a great facility, and the training you guys do is remarkable.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Awesome. Appreciate it, Mel. It's great having you guys here.
As a special offer to USCCA members, Wes and the team have offered first training for free. So if you're in the Southern California area, come on in, United Defense Tactical, and you get your first training for free. Check out the simulator and all the other training that these guys have. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're going to be putting out a lot more of this content in the coming weeks. If you have any questions, please, in the comments below, we'll get back to you. And as always, no matter what you do, continue training.